So today we're revisiting Mortwald as the War for Vigilus continues. And it's been a while since we've seen the Orks. They've been locked in stalemate with the Imperial Guard, but they've just been able to break through now. They've weakened the Imperial Guard because the Imperial Guard have had to pull down to the south of the False Continent to take on the uprising of Khorne, or the Khornate threat that's coming up from the south. So that's allowed the Orks to capitalise when the forces have been thin. The defenders have been finally taken out of this part of the city, and the Ultramarines have had to be dispatched. So this Ultramarines force has been the force that's been battling in the skies, in the fleet. So they've just been able to get back to planet side now, and it's the third company. So they've already sent out a scouting party, a forward recon party of the Whirlwind and this Rhino. So they're going to call in the wider force. It's always good to see where we are on the map. So here we are in Mortwald. The Orks have been attacking this sector previously, and they still are. They're locked in a stalemate with the Imperial Guard, but they've been able to break through because this whole red patch is the Khornate uprising. So they've had to double back to the south to take care of this. The Astartes are already in the region. That little blue square there, that's the Imperial Fists. They're locked in deadly battle with the Iron Warriors, and no one's going to back away from that fight. So it's up to the Ultramarine reserves to come in and cull the Orks while they can before it gets out of hand. So to represent this fight for territory, because that's all it is, just trying to claw back gains for the Imperium here, we're going to play the Eternal War Beachhead rule out of the latest chapter approved, 2018. So essentially, in a nutshell, there's three objectives that go down. One's in the centre, and then there's one each in each deployment zone. So the Ultramarines have put one down here, and the Orks have one just outside that building, just on the corner there. We can just see it. So the objectives are worth various points at the start of your turn. If they're in your own deployment zones, so from the Ultramarines perspective, this is worth 1 victory point, I believe. That's worth 2, and the enemies is worth 3 if you can hold on to that. So it's all about trying to push the enemy out of the region. And secondary objectives are up for grabs as well. So Slither Warlord, First Strike and Line Breaker are all active as well. And just one more thing, it is worth mentioning, we do play Cities of Death rules since we are in a city. Again, you can find these in your chapter approved. These are the ones to look out for. Obscured targets, if you are 50% obscured, just like in the olden days, it's a -1 to be hit. There's rules for better cover, so if you've got hard cover, which pretty much everything is on this table, if you're in hard cover you get a +2 to your save and throw. And there's a rule for height advantage, which means if you're a level above your opponent and you shoot down, it's an extra AP on your weapon. So it is worth saying, although this is a match play mission, we do like to play narratively, because that's where we are in the Vigilus campaign. Right, I've got 1500 points of the Ultramarines here. We've got a brand new codex on our hands, but it's an old army. It's the Ultramarines' third company, and we haven't seen these in a long while. So not a Primus Marine in sight here. It's going to be done the old-fashioned way. So we've got a battalion here for 5 command points, and of course Battleforge for 3. And the third company captain, Mikhail Fabian. So he's got the Warlord trait for Calm Under Fire. He's going to be able to select one unit within 6, and they're going to fall back without any penalty to shooting. And he's got a relic, the Adamantine Mantle. It's going to give him a Feel No Pain of 5, which is a brand new relic there. And he's got a Relic Blade and a Combi Grav. He's got his second in command is the Lieutenant. He's got a pair of Lightning Claws, and he's got a Siger, a Librarian even. So he's going to select 2 powers from the brand new Ultramarines discipline. So he's got Telepathic Assault and Psychic Shackle. So we'll cover them when they are played in the game. And something brand new here, the Chaplain does something completely different these days. So he does litanies, and it depends what you pick on the chart, but he does his basic one of old. So you roll a 3+, and anyone within 6 is going to get re-rolls to hit in combat. And then he's selected another one, which is Recitation of Focus, which means he's going to be able to select a unit within 6, and they're going to +1 to hit with ranged attacks. So now chaplains do something in combat for you and in a shooting line, so they're pretty good now, very interesting. I think it'll be great to see chaplains in more armies. It's such an iconic unit. So there they are. That's the command nerve of the 3rd Company, and they're going to be taking a ride in a drop pod. So again, drop pods, something that old hat, but they're back with brand new rules. They're going to be able to arrive into the battle just like they used to, because they don't suffer any penalties to the reserve rules now, so you can just do drop pod assault. So that should be cool to see. So for the main body of the 3rd Company, we've got going lots of tactical marines. So a 10-man tactical unit here. Las cannon, flamer, and a power sword for the sergeant. And then over here, las cannon, grav gun, and a power fist for that sergeant. And they're both taking a ride in a drop pod as well. And then a 3rd unit here, all bolters in the Rhino. And we've got fast attack, so we've got the assault squad here. 2 flamers, power sword for the sergeant. And we've got a devastator squad. So we haven't seen these since the days of the Skyhammer Annihilation Force, that cursed formation. So 10, 4 with grav cannons, and then they've got the Armorium Cherub as well, and they'll be also in a drop pod. So a blast from the past there. And lastly, we've got a Whirlwind, and that's got the Castellan missile launchers, so that's 2d6 strength 6 shots coming out of that one. Okay, so it's just bolt guns all around. We don't know how this is going to go. Pretty excited to see how the old Marines come back into the game, if they do at all, but let's give it a test, see what happens. Okay, so just a bit of bookkeeping before we kick the thing off. So drop pods, we won't be counting the doors on the drop pods when they land, so when they unfurl, we'll just still be counting the hull for range purposes, because the doors, it's a bit silly when that happens, so we're just going to do it the old school way. So doors don't count when the drop pods come down. And just another thing, as we were both reading the codex, there's this stratagem, Sons of Guilliman. It used to be called Scions of Guilliman, and what it used to do was give you full rerolls for troop units for hitting, and rerolls of 1 for everything else. This is worded slightly different and it's really confusing, but we're going to play it just like the old stratagem. Have a read of it yourself, see what you think, but we'll be playing this just like the olden days, because otherwise it's just really crap. So take a read of it, make your own conclusion, but we'll be playing it full rerolls for troops and rerolls of 1 for everybody else. Okay, this is 1500 points of GOFF Orks. So GOFFs are going to allow us to get extra hits on a 6 in combat. It's like death to the false emperor, but it's death to everyone, because that's how the Orks do business. So we've got 2 detachments going on here. We've got a battalion detachment for 5. We've got 3 for being battle forged, and 1 because we've got a heavies detachment as well. So for the main detachment, we've got the 2 characters up front here. Gruck Face Ripper, War Boss. He's going to be the Warlord, of course, and he's got the Warlord trait for Follow Me Lad, so he's going to get an extension on his range for his abilities, like his war ability. So he's got Power Claw, Combi, Rocket there, and of course his trusty Attack Squig. And his second in command is his trusty Weird Boy friend, so he knows 1 power, and it's going to be that jump, and we all know what that does. So 3 troop units here. We've got 20 Gretchen, we've got 30 boys here, and then another pack of 30 boys there. And we've got an elite unit here, and this is a knobs mob of 8, 3 with big choppers for some choppy action. Right, so for the heavy detachment, we've got the big mech with a shot attack gun, Death Dread, loads of clippies, Mortwald with all the trimmings, and then we've got the flash gates with a runt, and they've got a dedicated pirate ship known as a truck. Alright, we're going to spend a command point straight away to unlock the Dread War special detachment from the Vigilus Defiant campaign. It's for pretty much the heavy stuff. So what we're going to do is going to take a relic for the big mech, and it's going to be the really nasty shot attack gun. It's the souped up shocker. It basically fires an extra time, so it's got 2d6 shots coming from it. Very nasty. And then they've got a stratagem, which is pretty cool, allows you to fire a certain time as well, so lots of dagger. Oh, and I almost forgot that command trait that he's got, it actually gives you an extra command point, so we'll reimburse ourselves 1 there. So the Ultramarines are scheduled to go first, because they did set up first, unless the Orks can steal initiative on a 6. To 3, the Ultramarines have secured the first turn. And so begins the first turn. So the Ultramarines get out of this rhino. Just a quick note, we're counting area cover for the footprint of the building, so anything where it looks like an obvious building. So all of this is going to be area terrain up until that rhino there. So they're in cover, ready to get the bolters trained on that boys unit in the distance. Whirlwind, of course, stays still. And then, from the skies, come the drop pods. So the drop pods come down, the steel rain is upon us. But it's a conservative deployment, it's not as aggressive as the drop pods can be. Just labouring over where to put them. It's been a long time since deploying via drop pod, so knocking the rust off, I think. So we've got right on the edge of the board here, the las cannon team with the drop pod have got out. This drop pod lands and gets the characters out, so they're occupying this space. They're looking to eventually make an attack on that objective in the corner. Hopefully they're trying to pull some of the orcs over to their region and split up the orc attack a bit. There's grots in the building looking after that objective, so they're easily killed, but it's a big commitment on that side of the board for the Ultramarines. They've got another drop pod in here ready to just try and pepper this middle objective. So the thing about the orcs is you can't get too near because they'll go very fast and they'll jump all over you, so they've had to deploy conservatively. And then the last drop pod comes in over there. So this is the last drop pod, and this is the unit, the Devastator unit with the grav cannons. So they're not going to be able to shoot the grav cannons at the vehicle. They just didn't want to get too close. They're going to try and just pepper away at the boys with all of the bolt guns, try and strip the orcs down in numbers, and then try and tackle the hard machinery. Alright, so we're going to move on to the psychic phase now at the end of the movement phase. So there is a chaplain in there, but because he didn't start the game on the board, he can't do prayers just yet, or litanies just yet. So it's the psychic phase. He doesn't have any problem with doing any special abilities, so he's going to try and smite the nearest unit, and it's the Death Dread. So he needs to get this off on a 5, and he does. Use on these new dice count as 6s. So previously when you've watched games, we've used different dice where that counts as a 1, but these new dice, that's a 6. That is a 1. So anyway, that comes off on an 11. So that is a super smite, so it's d6 damage. So that's 3 wounds on the Dreadnought already.
Command point reroll.
He's going to command point it. He wants higher, yeah. Could get lower.
Could.
Messing with the winds of the warp here.
50-50.
And it's a 2.
Oh, shoot.
He rolled the dice literally and lost. Okay, second psychic power, the Librarian. The greedy Librarian, trying to get more smite. He's going to do a new psychic power called Psychic Shackles. So special Ultramarine one needs to get this off on a 6. And he does. Again, that's a good casting. So what this does is halved his movement, so he's moving 3 inches now, and he has to -1 off advance and charge rolls, so he's slowing right down. Just put him in the treacle. Right, we're going to have this unit of Ultramarines fire off first, and they're going to target the Death Dread, who's just under the underpass. So no save for him against any of these attacks. He's not obscure or anything, so he's going to fire off the las cannon first. And it is worth noting before he rolls, the Devastator Doctrine is in place, so AP -1, an additional AP -1 to any heavy weapons and grenades that are fired. So here's the las cannon, and he's missed on a 2. Not a good start.
Going to have to command point reroll that shit.
Okay, command point reroll, and he's hit on a 6. Right, needs a 3 to wound, and that's a 1. No dice. Right, we've got a grav gun to fire. It's at long range, so it gets 1 shot. He needs a 3, and he gets it, and it's strength 5 against a vehicle. He's going to need a 5, and again a 1. Right, 8 bolt gun shots now, and 3's to hit. So because it's not the tactical doctrine yet, we don't get to see those bolters as nasty as they could be, or will be. So 5's to wound. Again, lots of 1s. Only 1 wound, so we need to save on a 3, which we save. Right, under more fire from the Dread, we've got this las cannon at him, so he's hitting on a 4. And he's hit. Doesn't need the assistance of the lieutenant or the captain, but a 2 is a dud dice. Not going to be able to do anything about that. And now for bolters from that squad into the Death Dread. Alright, so we've just tallied up the bolter shots. There's 4 bolters coming in. They are obscured at a -1 because they're firing through all the girders, but there is 1 bolt gun with a clean shot. So here's the 4 obscured, hitting on 4s, so they get 1 hit. And they can reroll that 1 as well because the captain. So they do get an extra hit there. So that's 1 wound, and you need another dice to wound with.
Oh, sorry, that was 2 hits, but never mind.
Right, so just 1 wound in the end, need to save on a 3. In fact, it's a 2 because I'm obscured. We save again. Right, now we've got Mikhail Fabian on top of the barrel on boxes himself. He's going to take an obscured shot at the thing, and he gets his hit. It's a combi grav that he's got, and he gets his wound. So it's AP minus 3, but we do have a hardcover save. So it'll be AP minus 1, and we do a confident 6. It's made of strong stuff. So not great so far from the Ultramarines. The drop pod, Deathwind launcher at this big mob of Orks. So he's getting 5 shots out of those missiles. 3s to hit. And he gets all of them. Strength 5, so needing 3s. And he gets 3. Is the drop pod in range of your lieutenant? Right, the lieutenant is in range, so he gets to reroll those 2. And he makes them. So there's 5 wounds. Okay, 5 wounds to save. We are within radius of the custom force field, so 5s. And we've dropped 4 Orks. And the last shots came in from that drop pod in the corner. Shot at the dread, didn't get its hits because it's obscured. Alright, we're coming over this side now. This drop pod with the Devastate squad are going to fire onto the Ork boys. So the grav cannons are going off first, taking the role of a heavy bolter really, because he's out of range of the vehicle unfortunately for himself. But he's using the Signum, so the first grav cannon is going to hit on 3s because the heavy weapon's on the move. So there's 3 hits, and strength 5, needing 3s. Right, so there's 2 wounds. We'll just put that in the bank and we'll fire the rest of the gravs off. Right, here's the 12 shots from the other grav cannons. He's hitting on 4s. And that's good, good, good. Only 1 missed, and needing 3s again. That's very good. 2 go straight. So there's another 5. We'll put those in the bank as well. Still got a couple of bolt guns to fire. Right, we've got 5 shots from bolt guns now at the same squad. And that's all but 1. And then 4s to wound. And there's 2. So 2 more to add to that pool. So we've got 7, 8, 9 wounds to save. We've grouped these all together because we're within the custom force field. We're needing 5s. We've saved 3, so that should be 6. There's 6. Okay, and because we're saving on the invulnerable 5, it doesn't really matter what gets shot at us. Just to speed things up, we've grouped together the shots from the Deathwind, this squad, and the Rhino. Good shooting all around. We've got 9 wounds to save. Here we go, on 5s. Ooh, 2 save, and that's 7 more Orks out of this posse. Alright, so it's 13 Orks down in this unit in total, and now we've got the Whirlwind. It's the last thing to fire. There it is, just taking refuge behind the building. It's going to fire its shots all the way over at, is it this squad or this squad?
This one.
The freshest squad is only lost 4. So it's 2d6 shots. You can fire indirectly. So
10.
it's 10, yeah. So you got 10 shots hitting on 3s at strength 6. And there would be at AP minus 1, but it's not a big deal because they've got an invulnerable force field anyway. So 9 hits, so you need 3s to wound. So you could see the potential for this Whirlwind with AP minus 1 could be great against non-invulnerable saves. And that is all but 1. So 8 wounds here we're going to have to save. Let's collect some dice. Here we go. So again, leaning on our 5s. We keep on getting that 2, and we've lost 6 out of that other squad. Right, so normally that would be the end of the shooting phase, but with the new stratagem here, where is it? Suppression, fire, 2 command points. Basically, he's just going to fire again with his Whirlwind. So the castle of missiles, here we go. Again, who's this going to be targeted at? The same unit, 2d6. And that's 8 this time. 3s to hit. Okay, that's 2 misses in there, and 3s to wound once again. Not as good this time. Only 3. Again, invulnerable 5s. You make 2, only lose 1 Ork this time. Right, that's the end of Ultramarines turn 1, so no morale checks because we are classed as leadership 20 here and 19 there, so it doesn't matter that we've lost a lot of Orks, we're still going to pass our morale, so the war goes on. And no points for either side in this first round because you don't start scoring until battle round 2, and there wasn't any units killed so far. Right, it's Orks turn 1. So the boys set off. So these have advanced 5 inches, so they've gone 10 in total. We need only a 5-inch charge to get in on these because we are in range of the war boss to be able to assault after advancing. This unit is coming around to here. They've got no real goal at the moment, but they'll find a purpose, they always do. We've moved the war head, the weird boy, and the boss on a little bit, and the Mortwald stomps up the street, ready to try and take this objective. We're just out of range to take it this turn. We just need a... well, we can't take it anyway, it's the first turn, so never mind. Got Ork Bryn now. So he's a smarter Ork. His moves was halved because of that static power, and we had to take one off our advanced move. So he's been cunning. He's yet to be brutal, but he's cunning first, and he's just hid behind that pipe, so he can't be targeted by any of those nasty weapons anymore. These Orks, they could have stayed in cover, but they want to hear those guns go off, those loud, deafening guns from the flash gates, and now in range of the unit that got out of the drop pod over here. So plenty of dagger going down, and of course he'll probably lead the way on the dagger, the shot attack gun. And of course the grots don't move. Alright, it's time for Ork magic tricks now. So the weird boy, he's going to try and jump because he's within 12 this knob's mob. So it needs a 7 to go off, but we've got a +3 to the dice because we've got so many Orks. Comes off, big time. But he busts his head a bit, so he does a Perils of the Warp and takes only a single wound. It was worth it. He only lost one eye in his head explosion. Alright, and that's where they appear off that jump, so big green flash in the middle of nowhere and in the backfield of the Ultramarines. It's pretty worrying. There's not a lot of Ultramarines around. They might just have their wicked way with the whirlwind. Of course, that's if they make the charge. Okay, the Orks are just about to shoot, but Gruck says no one shoots before him, so he fires off a rocket at the drop pod. So here he goes, he needs a 5. Actually he needs a 6 because he advanced. But he missed anyway. It's unexpected for an Ork. And then he's got the shooter part, and he's missed, but he's not bothered. It just sounded good. Right, so now we're going to fire the Mortwald, so we're going to use more dagger for 2 command points. Means we're going to get extra shots on 5s instead of 6s. So we will fire all the weapons at that unit in the distance just there. Right, so we're going to fire the Mortwald now, all weapons into that squad in the distance. We are within 24, which is our minimum range for stuff. So we're going to fire off the custom mega zapper, so it's 3d3 shots. And it could have been better, but it could have been worse. So there we go, 5 shots. We're needing 5s to hit. We get 1 hit, and it is a dagger. 2 hits, so it's strength 8. We are needing 2s to wound. Oh, just the 1. It's AP minus 3, so you're saving on a 6 out in the open. So it needs a save of a 6 out in the open. And there's 1 Marine down. Right, then we've got the blaster from the belly. Doesn't hit. And then we've got the twin big shooter, so that's 12 shots. Coming at you. Ooh-wee. Right, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. And because we've played more dagger, you get an extra attempt at getting some hits. 1 extra. Right, 3s to wound. Up with the big shooters. Nice. There's 4. 3s to save. The Achilles heel of a Space Marine. But he's made them all. Strong start from the Space Marines. And 2 rockets off the cuff. And he's missed. Okay, so not very good from the Mortwald, but we anticipated it might be a bit of a dud. So we're spending 2 more command points for custom ammo from our special Vigilus detachment. It means we can fire again. That's why we play the data stratagem. So we get every chance to increase our shots. So here we go, all going again at that unit in the distance. So the Mega Zapper, and it's an even score across the board there. 5s to hit. Much better. There's 3 hits, and because they're daggered for all of the phase, we can roll that. So we roll a 1, that is a wound for him. Not to worry though, we've got 4 wounds on them biggies, and we'll get 3 hits, or 3 wounds rather. So saves a 6, and he fails 3, so there's 4 Marines dead so far. Right, now for the belly blaster, he's hit, and it's a dagger. Oh, gives himself a 2nd wound, but again, we've got our target. Oh, keep on rolling 1s. Gah. So that doesn't wound, that's really disappointing. Right, rockets. Yes, dagger. Yes, it hits. 2s to wound with the rockets. 2 wounds, right, need to save on 5s, he's only AP -2. And he gets them both. He's found his mark. And now for the big shooters, to cap this all off. Oh! He's already putting it on them now. There's 6 hits, and then because they're all 5s and 6s with more dagger, we can attempt to hit, and we get another extra hit. 3s to wound. Okay, there's 4 wounds. We're testing that Astartes armour, Mark 7 armour, and it's failed on all fronts. That's 4 dead off the big shooters.
Why is it 4?
Oh no, these are not 1s anymore. Right, okay, I got confused again. 2 dead, these are now 6s, they're not 1s anymore on these new dice. Okay, getting far too carried away with those Ultramarine news on those dice. But the good news is we've killed 7 Ultramarines in total over there. Okay, inspired by the loud guns, the flash skits will now fire. So because they're moved, they're going to be hitting on 5s because they've got heavy weapons, but the captain, he's got a git finder, which gives him an extra ballistic skill. So we're going to fire at this unit in 24-inch range. Captain is on the yellow dice. So 5s needed, 4s on the yellow. Oh, that's good. That's what we want, Captain. Right, so we've got to sort out our daggers here as well, because that is really impressive. So we've got 2 yellow daggers. I've run out of yellow dice, I'm going to have to use a red one. So these are going to be daggers for the captain, so these are going to hit on 4s. So we'll get an extra hit. And then we've got 2 green daggers, which you don't get any extra hits on. Right, so these def guns are, in fact, we can re-roll one of these because we've got an ammo run on board and he can offer you a re-roll. So nope. Right, these are strength 6, so we need 4s to wound, 3s to wound on those Astartes, and that is pretty impressive. 5 wounds. So just refreshed myself with a profile. Strength 6, AP -2, 2 damage, so 7 on 5. And he makes 2. No, it's not 2. He's failed 2 because that U is a 6, not a 1. I need to get that into me thick orky skull. So 2 die off that blast so far. But of course, what we can do on a 6, we can tune up the band again, and the guns go off from the pirates on the ship. No, run out of ammo for now. Right, going to move on to the shot attack gun now. He's going to fire. Well, before we fire, we'll establish the strength, then we can decide. So it's going to be strength 7. So we'll be firing that at the Marines. We just want to try and clear away all these nasty bolt guns that are going to come in soon. So it's the souped up shocker. So we'll roll 2 dice, and this is how many shots we're getting. Got worried there. So a double 1 nearly appears. So there's 5 shots coming down range at these. So 5s to hit. And we get 2, and 1's a dagger. Oh yes. 3s to wound. Oh, it's a shame. Only 1, and it's AP -4 or 5, so one's just been vaporised by grots. Alright, I finished off with the wagon, firing the big shooter. Didn't do anything. So we can't fire any pistols here because we advanced, so it's onto the knobs. Just going to get some shots with the pistols over there. Right, that's it for orky shooting, and now it's time for charges. So we're going to have the Orks here go in against this squad, so 20 Overwatch shots, needing 6s or the U's as we know them to be now. So looks like 5, and needing 4 to wound. That was not in the batch, so we've got 1, 2. Right, we are within custom force field, so saving on 5s. Save 1, save 2. They will not be stopped. So it's a 6-inch range. We're needing 5 on the dice here because we can charge after advancing because we're in range of the war boss, and we get in on a big 10. Okay, so they've got in like that, so they're going to crump some biggies. Right, last charge over here. Oh, we forgot to mention actually, these shot the pistols off and did 2 wounds on the whirlwind, which is pretty awesome. Really good shooting from them. But now they will charge. This is the most meaningful one. So the whirlwind will overwatch with a Castellan missile. So it's got 2d6 shots, and it's going to fire 4 times. And needs sixes and doesn't get anything, right? So we're going to need a 9-inch charge to get in on this blue box. Ooh, we've got a 4 and a 1. Do we just do a full-on re-roll them both? We need a 9. We need a 5. It's a 1 in 3 chance. Yes, we'll like those odds, I think. Yeah, we're in on a 9. So in the go, Marla and the boys gonna chop that up something good. Okay, so we're gonna fight this combat first. We've got 16 orcs with choppers who can fight, and the boss knob with the power claw. So we've got 16 guys with 3 attacks each. We're just gonna do this off camera because it takes so long. Right, I fought with the choppers. That's 21 wounds. The Ultramarines are gonna have to save on 3s. All right, so there's 1 dead. It's looking pretty strong. 2, I don't believe it.
Neither do I.
Only 2. Okay, it's actually 3. There's a 2 hidden in there, but that still is outstanding saving on these new Ultramarine dice. I think sales might go up if people watch this video. Right, so I thought that was going to be dead easy. Obviously not. So we're going to have the knob with the power claw fight now, hitting on 4s, and he's fluffed every single attack. Okay, so we resolved the combat on the whirlwind, did 2 chops with the big choppers. That was 4 damage in total. So this whirlwind's got 4 wounds left, so not enough to kill it. Okay, we're going to finish off this fight over here now because it's the Ultramarines' turn to fight, and with the shock assault rule they've got an extra attack, so it's no joke. They're coming in with 15 attacks there, and they're going to try and make it count. And see,
Oh, miss.
Yeah,
It's a miss. That one is.
not too much. It's not too bad actually. And 4s to wound. Probably average what you got. 4s, that's looking very good. Only 1, 2 are bad. So that's 8 wounds to try and save. That's pretty terrifying. Because we could take a bad morale check here. 6s. Oh, look at that. The answer back.
Smiles.
There's something special about that part of the battlefield where armour means a lot. So we do lose 3 orcs in the end though. Okay, so morale checks okay for both units in here. We've got enough orcs to hang on. We only lost 3, luckily, with that amazing armour save. And the Ultramarines have 1 to do, so they lost 7 out of that unit. The leadership
plus 4. This
so
is
that's
good.
11. Yeah, start east, so you can reroll that with initial no fear. A 2, that's much more palatable, so they will continue. Space Marines showing their class there. So that is the end of Orcs turn 1, so we are in possession of that objective, but will not score any points for it yet. And we've got to wait until turn 2. And turn 2 is upon us, which means that Ultramarines will probably switch to the tactical doctrine. This is when it all kicks off for the Ultramarines. So we're in good positions in the battlefield. Didn't expect such tough fighting in the centre there on both sides. So here we go. Okay, turn 2 for the Ultramarines, and the Tactical Doctrine is now in play, which means AP -1 rapid fire weapons and assault weapons, and because it's the Ultramarines, it now means that if you're firing weapons, you're classed as standing still. That even means Vigilus, unless you're advancing charge. So you can now shoot heavy weapons on the move, which is big news. So this squad just has a reshuffle over here. The characters have come over to assist them on this side. The Psych has still got a view on this Death Dread, I'm told. We'll have to have a look at that. And this Devastator squad on the left hand side, they've now gone up the street. They're going to try and handle these this Knobs mob who are just poking out the side there. And this unit has dropped back out of combat. They can shoot with a -1 with the Ultramarines, but they've got a stratagem up the sleeve, so more on that when it comes to it. And this Whirlwind's dropped out of combat as well, because vehicles can now drop out of combat and shoot, just like Ultramarines. Infantry for the Ultramarines, it's new. And this squad, because the Tactical Doctrine, they can now move with the heavy weapon. So they're just making the distance a bit more further for the Death Dread, and just shuffling into cover, looking for an opportune time to unleash that last cannon. So the Assault Squad isn't coming down yet. He hasn't got a good place to put it, so he's feeling like it's a good ace to have in the hole. Right, so the stratagem that was played on this unit, it's done immediately when they fall back. It's called fall back and re-engage. So it's exactly what the title suggests. You can fall back and act as normal. So they're going to be able to shoot. And assault, this is harkening back to, I think this was last in the 6th edition Codex, when they could do this, the Ultramarines. A variation of this. So this is really important, being able to rapid fire, then recharge, and get your shock attack rule, your shock assault rule, and come along with loads of attacks. So really, really nice stratagem, that one. Okay, Psychic Phase, the Librarian, who's just there. He's going to smite the Death Dread again, see what he can do. So that is a 7, and D3 damage for this Dread. It's 2, so he's taken 4 wounds now, this Death Dread. And now he's going to do the Telepathic Shackle, or whatever it's called, Psychic Shackle, and that comes off on an 8. So now, once again, he's half moving, and he's got a -1 off his advance and charge roll, so he's a slow coach. Right, Death Dread, he's taking some fire off the drop pod. It's a Deathwind launcher, so he's got 2 hits, 2 wounds. Now, what this means, it's AP -1 because of the Ultramarine Doctrine, with the Tactical Doctrine in play. So even Deathwind launchers are pretty nasty. So 7 on 4s, and we've taken a 5th wound, so only 3 left on the Death Dread. Right, second drop pod fires in. Luckily we are obscured and we'll have the benefit of cover, so we saved that one. Okay, so now we had 2 bolter shots rapid firing into the Dread, didn't do anything, we've got our saves, and now we've got the last cannons firing through the gap here, through that gap, at the truck. He doesn't get his hit, he rolls a 1. Right, over here, the Gretchen are now the target. So they've had bolt guns fire in, even the captain fired a bolt gun, and they've killed 6 poor old grots. Have been turned to red mist, but he's going to fire the las cannon at this truck here.
Okay.
And he gets his hit, and he needs a 3, and he doesn't do it. He gets a 2.
Dear oh dear, it's 2 last cannons.
2 las cannons, 2 fails. Right, so what else has he got to muster over here? Right, last thing to fire was the Deathwind launcher at the grots and took out another 4. We've only got 10 grots left, but the morale check is going to be it's probably going to see the rest off anyway. So we're coming over to this side of the battlefield now. Right, we're going to fire off the Devastators now at this Knobs mob. It's going to be devastating, alright. So this is the Graph Cannon with the Signum. So hitting on 2s because of the Ultramarines' special ability with the Tactical Doctrine in play. And 3's the wound. And he gets all but 1. So there's 3 wounds, and AP -3. There's no save there, so we've lost a knob and a half. We'll just tally up a wound there. Right, now we've got the rest of the grav cannons. These are hitting on 3s because the count is standing still. So that's all but 1, 2,
2.
and again wound on 3s. So grav cannons, just working like heavy bolters, are doing the trick. Okay, they're doing better than the trick. So That is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wounds, and we've already got one outstanding. So we've lost a lot of knobs now. We've only got 2 knobs left, and the rest of the squad can fire the bolters as if they were there. So they've disappeared around the corner, but they've got home and bolter shots. Here we go, 3s. And he gets quite a lot, but a lot of 1s in there. And 4s. Okay, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4. And we do get our saves this time, but AP -1 bolt guns forcing us onto 5s. And we only get 1, so we've lost. Ooh, we have to take the boss knob and put a wound on the sole survivor, because he's going to have to contest our objective. So we've got 1 knob left contesting this objective with the whirlwind, but he's going to use his cherub and fire off again with the Signum grav cannon guy. Finish him off. So he's got all hits. 3s. And that's a wipeout. No more knobs. I had fun while they lasted. Right, now we've got the fight in the building. It's turned into a gunfight now. So the Rhino chimes in, kills an Ork, and now it's time for the main squad. So there's 7 left. That's 14 rapid fire shots coming in at the Orks at close range. And hitting on 3s. That's pretty good. I forced to wound. And not so good this time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so these are AP -1. And we are in hard cover, so we've got a save of 2. So saving on 4s in hard cover. At a -1 we need 5s. Because that is area cover, don't forget. So we've lost 2 Orks. Alright, so the Orks come under fire from the whirlwind. 3 wounds put on them. But the Devastator Doctrine is not in play anymore, so that's not AP -1. So we're going to get our saves on a 4 because we've got a save of 6, and we're in area cover and it's hard terrain, so 4s. So we've lost another Ork, so we're dying ever so slowly, which is exactly what we want. We've lost 4 Orks so far. That drop pod fired into the Orks at the back, there they are, and didn't get any hits either. So I think we're at the end of the lollipop for the Ultramarine shooting phase now. And now it's time for charges, because these can recharge with that stratagem if they choose to. Okay, so this unit will charge, so we're going to overwatch. We're going to have 9 pistols and a tank buster bomb. So we get 1 hit, and it does count as da, which we don't get an extra hit. So we need a 4 to wound. We don't get it. Right, tank buster bomb, D3. Getting 3. Needing 6s. Oh, we get 1 to da. Nope. So we need a wound on a 2, because never mind.
Good for 1.
So here we go. Ultramarines on the charge. Tactical Ultramarines on the charge. Who would have thought? Right, so they've charged in, and they have 15 attacks since there's 7 survivors, Sergeant included. 3s to hit. Again, it's looking like a good roll. I see a few 2s in there. 2s at the back.
Not a very good roll.
Oh, that was okay. And 4s now. Ooh. Right, so there's 3, 4. Just 4. Not that special in the end. So 6s to save. Can we pull it out of the bag again? No, we've lost 4 Orks. Orks to fight back. So we've got 5 chopper and slugger boys to fight. So 3 attacks each. It's not bad. Just take out the misses. And then evaluate the choppy chops. So we've got 5 6s for the GOFF rule. And look at that, 5 in my hand already. Right, so that was a 1. Okay, 4s to wound. No, not so good. So there's 5, 6 wounds. Need to save on 3s. It's a grueling fight in this building. Oh, and now they start to drop. There's 3 Ultramarines down, 4 left. Can we get this power claw to kill a few more? Last attacks. Oh, we've got a dagger, choppy chop. So there's 3 and 2's to wound. Oh, there's always a 1, isn't there? So there's 2 more 6s to save. And another 2 fall to the power claw. Alright, so that is the end of the Ultramarines' turn. It could have been devastating. It turned out to be a tough old fight in the building there. And now it is time for morale checks. So, because the Ultramarine turn, we'll start with you. So you've lost 5 Ultramarines. And your leadership 8, I think, or 9. I think you're 9.
9.
That's a pass on a 1. No question about it. Right, so the GOFFs in there, they lost 8 boys. So we're going to lose 1 for sure, and then plus how many while rolling the dice. We'll roll a 3, and we've lost 1 already. So we've lost 4 in total. So we've got a few survivors. We've got the boss knob and 1 other boy. Alright, so that's the end of the Ultramarines' turn, and there's 2 remaining boys. So I think we all know what's about to come next as we move into Orks turn 2. Right, it's Orks turn 2, so we've shuffled the boys around, so we've got around onto this objective now. We score 1 point because we're on our own objective at the start of our turn. So 1 point in the bag. We weren't close enough to that one, we couldn't afford running with the Gorkanaut. We went without points just to kill some Space Marines. I feel like it was the right thing to do in the long run. So the boys have gone up as well onto that objective just to get some troops on there. Gruck has stepped forward, Weird Boy is going to smite these 2 surviving Ultramarines, and this truck stays still. We're going to try and blast this squad with the full might of the snaz guns. And then this Death Dread that's stuck in Treacle, he advances, ends up going a woeful amount, but he's just going to put the pressure on that last cannon in the distance. He's sick of it harassing him. And then in other news, I forgot to say, in the last round, in the last turn, the Grots took a bad morale check, but 2 hang on. Poor blighters. So they're still there, still holding that objective as a troop, along with these, and providing cover for the shot attack gun to fire down into this big mass of blue bodies. But now it's the moment that we were all waiting for. It's the end of the moving phase. These last 2 boy survivors, we're going to play Unstoppable Green Tide. So we're going to get that entire 30 boy unit back as reserves, and they're going to come on from any board edge. Where will they come on? And there we go, 30 boys out of the blue, going to attack the blue stuff. So that's where we arrive, right in the corner, right next to the enemy objective. So I feel like the Ultramarines might be regretting not dropping the drop pods back in their own deployment. They've been too aggressive, and the Orks thrive on aggression. Okay, it's looking good for the Orks, gotta say. That Green Tide just really pulls the rug out from pretty much anybody. It's just unbelievably good. Right, so the Weird Boy, he's going to smite these last 2. He's going to attempt to anyway. And he does on a 5. Can't be stopped. D3. There's 2 Marines left. Only 1. There's a sole survivor in there. Okay, so the flash kits will now start the shooting phase, and we're going to fire at this tactical unit here. So we didn't move, so we're on full blitzing skill with the flash kits, and that means we're hitting on 4s. 3s on the yellows because he's got a gift finder, as the captain. Right, so that wasn't very good. But we've got a lot of dagger in there, which is nice. Some hits, but not the 4s that were wanted. It's ironic, isn't it? But we do have an ammo runt that we can reroll. Oh, that's went in the gutter, and it's a dagger. So, oh, it's going on and on. He will not be upstaged by his crew. The captain will speak. Right, so 3s to hit, to wound rather. Okay, another smattering of 1s, but we came away with 5 wounds at AP -2. So he's saving 5 on 5s. Oh, it's a bit of a cock die. It's an anomaly.
Try that one again.
Right, he saved 1, but 4 have perished in a hail of noise and whatever gets fired out of those guns. Okay, but that's not all from the flash kits. I've got a feeling that we're going to roll a 6 and we're going to fire again, because they enjoyed that so much they're going to do it again. Oh, it's 3. Halfway there. Right, we shot the big shooter from the truck at them, and we got the wound, but he saved. But now it's time for the shock attack gun. We're going to see what the strength is, then pick our target, because that's how it works. And we get a 7 again, so we're going to select the tactical unit, see if we can just wipe those out. And because it's a suit of chopper, we get 2 dice to see how many shots we get. We get 10. Cool. Have to get more dice. Okay, here we go, 10 dice. Hitting on 5s. Okay, there's 2 hits, and of course they are daggers. 3 hits in the end. And strength 7 means we wound on 3s. Oh, that was disappointing. Alright, never mind. That was just sad, that is. So, we're going to cheer ourselves up with Dom Mortwald, and he's going to shoot all of his weapons down at this Devastator squad. Actually, in fact, Gruck will fire the first shot because he's got a shorter range weapon. So here he goes, and he's a bit further away. He gets his hit, and it's a dagger. And he doesn't get his extra hit, but does his first one, find the mark. Needs a 2. He gets it, he needs to save on a 5.
From orbit.
And he gets a 6, okay. Alright, here we go then. The Mortwald is going to fire at the Devastator. So we're going to have the Zapper, the Super Zapper thing. So it's D3 shots, and that is a whopping amount of shots. So extra 2 for them, extra 2 for that, and extra 1 for that. So we're needing 5s to hit these. Oh my. There's 3 hits, and there happen to be daggers. Oh, there's a 1, so we're taking a wound as well. So even though we've rolled another 1, we'll only ever take 1 wound. Doesn't matter how many 1s we roll, as long as we roll a 1 we take a wound, right? So, but anyway, that's 5 hits, 2s to wound. Let's strength 8. Okay, 1 escapes, and this is AP minus 3. So there's 1 dead, and then there's 3 more to make. Yeah, 3 more to make.
3 more.
Yeah, because there's 4 wounds. And not sausage. There's 4 Marines vaporized. Okay, now the belly gun out of it. Here we go. He's missed. Right, 2 rockets. And he's missed. And then finally the twin, or the quad big shooter, should we just say. Here we go, 5s. Not great for an orc with that many shots. But we did get a dagger. And we do hit, so he's heard me calls. He's made up for it. 3s. Oh, he's on fire now. So there's 4, 7 on 3s.
Oh.
He's filled 1. Another Devastator goes down. He's down to the meat of the unit now. Right, so there's 5 left, but we don't feel like we are going to let them off the hook. We're going to spend our last 2 command points for the Vigilus extra ammo stratagem. That's the end of our command points now, but I think we've used them really well in this game. So it's going to fire again at the same target. So let's get some rockets going. And we've missed. And let's get the big zapper going. And 6. So here we go. We're taking another wound for ourselves. And we got 2 hits and 1's a dagger. So we don't get the dagger. 2s to wound. So we got 2 wounds, saving on 6s. There's 2 more dead. We're going down thick and fast now. The belly gun misses. Right, super shooter. It's not super shooter. It is the quad big shooter. Ooh, look at that. $3. Ooh, 2 more. And then 3s to wound. And only 2, 7 on 3s. And he fails both of them. It is a disaster in the street. Okay, and then we rounded off the shooting phase with a couple of pistols from the boys here at the Whirlwind and stripped another wound. It's got 3 wounds left. So we're going to do a charge on the Whirlwind, but it's looking really sad for the Ultramarines. Let's see if we make this charge. Okay, so the reanimated boys to take 2 casualties in the Overwatch from the Whirlwind. And we need a 9 to get in. So we get a 4 and a 1. Again, it's It's a 1 in 3 chance to make this charge. So here we go. Need a 5. No, 1 short. So that is the end of the Orks turn 2. So it's been punishing in just 2 turns. Seen a bit of flair from the Ultramarines, but the Orks, especially with Green Tide in the corner, that is just, it's completely outrageous. Green Tide. I've been the victim of it before, but it's awful. Absolutely awful. So we are going to pick up 1 point at the start of that turn for holding that objective, and that is it for the points, but we've set ourselves up for just domination with all the objectives. So the Ultramarines have got only token forces left. He failed the morale check, he couldn't pass it, there's no way he could pass it, just being 1 guy left, so he's run away, and he still stands. He only lost 1 guy, and then there's just the tattlers of a Marine squad over here and the tattlers of a Marine squad over there, so not enough to get in on the objectives.
Yeah, we'll just get 1 point out of this with the line break, and that's it. We haven't got enough troops to take any other objectives.
Okay, so I mean, so yeah, you get line breaker over there, and you're going to get a point for the whirlwind, and you start your next turn over there. So I think it's a concession from the Ultramarines. They're only going to get 1 point the next turn for that one, possibly line breaker, but the Orks going on are going to have that for 1 point, that for 2 points for the remainder of the game, because there's no way he's going to be able to contest that. He just hasn't got the stuff to deal with this boys unit and the Mortwald, and then the boys are just going to pour in onto that objective, and all of the Ultramarine support is just far too far away. So it's a bit of a kicking in only 2 turns. The Ultramarines had a chance, but drop pods coming in against the against the Orks, you've got to get it just right, or you can just find yourself at the hands of getting daggered and then assaulted. But it is possible, but it's hard. Yeah, so I feel like the nature of just the way drop pod, the Orks work in this edition, drop pods just, you're up against it when you're using drop pods. If you deep strike them into your own deployment zone, you've probably got a better chance, but you wanted to play aggressively and try and take the fight to the Orks, but the Orks are just so fast and it's just so threatening, it's just terminal as soon as they get a hold of you, so you've got to play a bit of cat and mouse, but that's what can happen, especially if you've got just a killer machine like that. So it's a concession for the Ultramarines. They're going to quickly run off into the distance. They're going to let the Orks have the drop pods. The Orks are going to turn those into probably a stomper or something cool. So the Orks continue their rampage through Mortwald. It doesn't seem like anyone can stop them. I've had a go at stopping them. The Ultramarines have had a go at stopping them, and they just can't be held back. Who will stop this madness?